Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the presentation of the project results of OPM3 Portugal. Here now I'm going to show you the results from the knowledge organizations. These are organizations that have a hard focus on the research and development. So I'll start with the process ownership, and then I'll talk about the two processes for initiation and the processes for planning of the project. Starting with the process ownership, which is the process which identifies if there is the existence of an owner responsible to put in practices the processes, in this case for the project management. Here, as it says, it's achieved 100%, which means that these organizations have clearly identified a number or individual of a person which is responsible to implement new processes or to develop the processes that already are implemented on the organizations. So moving to the two processes of the initiation phase, we have the development of the project charter, which achieved 60%, a good result, and then not so good identification of stakeholders, which could be a lot better, which only achieved 7%. Now, the results for the planning phase, starting with the development project management plan, which is the main document of the whole planning phase, describing the objectives and can describe the costs that will take the project, and also the schedule and so on. It achieved 60%. It's a good score, but still has the importance of itself. It should be higher. The quality requirements also near the 60%, achieved only 55%. Then the definition of scope for these organizations, it's very important, and it illustrates the importance by the score that it achieved with 100%. Work breakdown structure, the creation for this document or for this diagram is not being used. The organizations for this type is not adopting this process. Then the results for the development schedule and estimate costs with 81% on both. Not so well in the definition of the budget, which only achieved 7%. And then the plan quality are not being implemented by these organizations, which doesn't get any signals of implementation for this area. Also near to zero, the development human resource plan, as well as plan communication. All the processes related with the risk, as you can see here, are not being implemented with a score in all of the processes, starting with the plan risk management, with identification of the risks, performing the qualitative and the quantitative risk analysis, as well as the plan risk responses are all 0 on the score. Also, to finalize the planning phase, we have the plan procurements, which only achieve 26%. It means that these organizations are not giving much importance to the plan of the procurements. The best practices, it was achieved one on the project charter, another four more on the definition of the scope, definition of activities, estimate activity resources, as well as develop schedule and estimate costs. Moving on, now we have here the monitoring control executing monitoring control phase, as well as the two last processes which are related to the closing stage. Starting with the direct and managed project execution, it achieved 17%. Then the perform quality assurance with 0, almost 0 with acquired project team, again with 0, 2 more related with the project team. The development and management of the team achieved 0% on the score. These organizations are making the distribution of information with good practices, achieving 88%. Then again, with 0 managed stakeholder expectation, these organizations are not studying their stakeholders and are not studying actually the impact that can make on their projects. Conduct procurements as well as the monitor and control project work achieved the good results with 79 and 93% on the score. The perform integrated change control, we can see that the change is not in fact being too much giving attention to this area, as you can see, with 7%, and then the verification of the scope in the control of the scope is not being cared, with 0% on both. And then the control on the schedule and the control on the scopes are a bit better, with 36 and 45%. The quality control with 2%, almost 0, as well as the report performance. The monitor of the risks, again, as we can saw previously on the planning phase, we got 0% on all the processes of the risks. Here as well, the risks again with 0. Monitoring administered procurements and the closed procurements are 100%. So well, they are fully implemented with all the best practices being achieved. And the remaining that I didn't spoke about, the process related with the closing phase, the closed project or phase achieving 29%. Now I'll talk about the portfolio management process results. These are the results which are not near the expectations that we want to see in these organizations. It shows that we are still in the beginning to implement processes related with the portfolio management, with only achieving scores, a score in the first process, the process ownership, which identifies a person or a number of persons that are implementing and improving all processes of the organization. Still, it's a low score with 21%. The remaining processes are all marked as 0, as well as the sum of the best practices are also 0 for this domain. For the last domain, the organizational enablers for the knowledge organizations, we have the OPM policy and vision with 58%, the strategic alignment with 71%, resource allocation with 61%, management systems, sponsorship, also good results. Not so well on implementing organizational structures on these organizations with only 15%. And also medium results with competency management and individual performance appraisals. A good project management training. These organizations are also giving importance to the training in project management. The OPM communities with a low score, 5%. OPM practices with 53%. A little bit better than the communities, but the methodology on the OPM is 0%, is non-existent, and the techniques are 33%. Then again, with low results in the project management, the metrics and the process success criteria with 11 and 25% respectively. 0 processes for the benchmarking. They're not comparing what other organizations are doing in the same market, and also a low and near to 0 processes related with knowledge management and information system project management. So the sum of the best practices achieved for this domain is 5, achieving on the policy and vision, achieving also in management systems, in the project management training, and at least at OPM techniques. The the maturity for this domain is 38%. On this slide, it shows to you all the best practices achieved by these organizations, the knowledge related with the knowledge. As you can see, there are the list of the organizations from standardize, measure, control, improve. They achieved some best practices in this domain, as well as in organization enablers. We use common project language, educate executives, and other best practices. Now, the summary for these results. The knowledge organizations, they achieved 7% on the overall maturity. On the OPM3 global score, they achieved 30%. The difference from these two results are that on the global score, it counts everything that the organization does, even if they are not achieving best practices, but they are on the way to achieve. So we should focus on the 30% and not on the 7%. The OPM3 continuous score for the individual domains are 37% for the projects, only 1% for the portfolio, and 38% for the organization enablers. For the different phases of the project, these organizations achieved 17% for the project standardized maturity. They achieved 19%, a little bit higher. Curious, but I will explain later. For the measure maturity, control maturity with 17%, and improve maturity with 12%. These differences between measure and standardized with measure achieving 2 points higher on percentage than standardized, it means that these organizations are measuring more than what they are standardized, so they are putting effort higher than actually should on measure. So first they should implement standardized processes, techniques, and then only later measure and control and improve. This should be the order. For the best practices that I showed you before, they achieved from 300 scoped best practices, they achieved 32. It means that they achieved 10% of the organizations of the best practices that were possible to achieve. The last slide, I'll show you the results in the graphic. These you can actually compare in this graphic the different domains and the different phases, project phases, that the maturity of this organization achieved. Here you can see that these organizations achieved 16% on the project and 0% on the portfolio and the program. The program was not evaluated because it was not part of the project, and the portfolio achieved 0%. On the project side, we have 17% for the standardized, 19% for the measure, control 17, and on the improvement 12. Organizational levels achieved 7%. And this will finish my presentation. Thank you very much and have a nice day.